stable of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, starting with Eric and Harry Webby, the brothers, and now with Eric Webby and son Wayne. Starting back in the mid-1950s with one horse, they've worked their way up to have one of the most powerful stables in eastern Canada, racing primarily free-for-all circuit horses. Paul Meunier took time out, went over and visited the Webby stable in Dartmouth.
It may not look like much, but this site in Dartmouth has been home for some of the finest four-legged athletes ever to race in the Maritimes. It began in 1955 when Eric Webby purchased his first horse. That was Dr. F. Chips. For years afterwards, Eric's and brother Harry's name appeared on many a win sheet. Harry was a silent partner in Eric's burgeoning hobby.
1957, they built the track, and at that particular time it was a sawdust track. They had a mill down the road, which was, I'd say, about a mile away, and they hauled all the sawdust from the mill and covered the track with sawdust.
Eric's son, Wayne, took an interest in harness racing at an early age.
I was reading pedigrees ever since I was 5 years old, I believe. When the fellows started training horses here, I was always around the horses. I trained horses back when Dave Pinckney was starting here in the early 60s and raced straight through till now. It's been about 25 to 30 years pretty well.
There have been so many moments like these for the Webbys. Keeping track is difficult. Some are unforgettable, like Andy's son. 1965, maritime harness tracks were prospering like never before. Andy's son would win 35 of 45 starts that year. Sadly, he died when he was only 10 years old, just 1 year after he did 2 minutes on St. John's half-mile track, a new maritime record for a free-legged aged pacer. Quick Barron's memorable because of the victory at the Meadowlands in that track's inaugural dash. Ray Remen was in the bike, the time 1:57 and 2. There have been many other winners, so many that the Webbys couldn't find enough races in the Maritimes. Horses would be sent to the States and larger Canadian racing centers.
That kind of hurts my father because his main objective to having horses is to see them race. He does that because he's forced to do that. And he would never, I don't think, would ever send a horse away unless he has to have the choice. He doesn't have the choice.
Eric's keen eye for quality horses is indisputable, and his son has inherited the knack for conformation. The discovery of Wavor is proof.
We discovered that we picked the same horse out of 1,000 or 1,200 horses that was at that particular sale.
How does one pick and choose from thousands? We looked at one of the Webby's latest potential stars, Big Cheer.
The straightness, from the outside right straight down through the knee, the ankle, the pastern, and the foot. It all should carry in a straight line. And then we go to the side of the horse. We also want a straight line down from the shoulder, right through the knee, and also the ankle, and this way, the angle this way.
It's a lesson that is quickly lost on anyone who hasn't studied for at least a few years. Clearly, though, there's more to horse trading than looking for linear perfection.
He who hesitates is lost, isn't it? When you go to buy them, that comes into it because there's somebody else always there ready to bid you up, and you got to go to the price that you want to pay. And that to let the other man in.
And Dad always writes in the catalog before he buys them that he wants to go 6,000 or 7,000 or whatever have you, and that's usually the price he sticks with.
The Webbys will admit to numerous mistakes over the years, but they rarely acknowledge regret.
We never sold any that we really wanted to buy back.
Eric, the patriarch. Wayne isn't pushing his sons to follow in the business. For now, he and his dad share a seemingly idyllic father-son relationship.
We've had our disagreements over the years. I don't think either one of us can hold a grudge. And I think that's the name of the game. If you have something to say, you say it. You get it over with, and in the next few minutes, it's forgotten about. And that's the way we've always dealt in business and also with the horses.
It's simply a matter of respect.
I was down this year to Harrisburg, and the man Clearview Stables, Mr. Woolworth, from Kentucky, he recognized my father and came over, and he said, "Mr. Webby, I wish I had as many good horses as you've owned over the years." So he's recognized wherever he goes.
The Webbys in the winner's circle. This is Paul Meunier for At the Track.
Gemini Risk is racing 2, heels led, moving 3. Flight Officer racing 4 in Woodmere Spirit on down the back stretch. Winners Accolade out in front by a length and a half. Gemini Risk racing in 2, heels led, moving 3. Flight Officer 4 in Woodmere Spirit racing 5 to the paddock turn and the 3/4 mile marker. It's still Winners Accolade on top in 1:29 and 1/5 second. They're going under 2 minutes in this one. Winners Accolade. Gemini Risk racing into heels led. Flight Officer out of 4 is up on the outside at the 7/8. Here comes Gemini Risk to the outside. Winners Accolade. Gemini Risk up on the outside. Winners Accolade. Gemini Risk closing on the outside. Winners Accolade now pacing away. Winners Accolade. It's going to be Winners Accolade. 1:58 and 3. We're changing the format of our Glottis racing is the Alexander Memorial Free-for-All staged every year at St. John. Always an exciting race. It was the first $10,000 race. Here's Connell Smith with the 1986 version of the Alexander.
For this year's running of the Alexander Memorial.
A beautiful, warm spring evening. The track is fast. Ideal conditions for the running of the annual Alexander Memorial Race here at Exhibition Park Raceway in St. John. A field of 7 of the fastest horses in the Maritimes at this invitational. We're expecting big things from most of this field. Number 1 horse, driven by Jody Hennessy, is Winner's Accolade. Number 3 by John Davidson is Glengow Galaxy. Number 2, Rev Your Engine, is driven by Bill Pinkney. Number 4, Flight Officer by Morris Roy. And number 5, driven by Steve Mahar, is Gemini Risk.
And we're all set now for the Alexander Memorial, the $10,000 mile. A field of 7 approaching the top of the stretch. Winner's Accolade with Jody Hennessy. Rev Your Engine with Phil Pinkney. Glengow Galaxy with John Davidson. Flight Officer with Morris Roy. Gemini Risk with Steve Mahar. Burner's Delight with Wally Hennessy. Big D with Marcel Barrio. Here they come. Here, Glengow Galaxy shows on top on the outside. Winner's Accolade racing with him on the inside, and Winner's Accolade takes the lead. Glengow Galaxy charging up on the outside, racing on second, and Big D has a third. Rev Your Engine racing fourth, then the Flight Officer, Gemini Risk. Burner's Delight trails, and they go to the quarter. Winner's Accolades on top for length and a half. Glengow Galaxy racing second. Big D is up tight third. Rev Your Engine racing fourth. Flight Officer, Gemini Risk, and Burner's Delight trailing as they go by the quarter. By the quarter, 30 3/5. They swing around the top turn. It is Winner's Accolade a length and a half. Then the Glengow Galaxy sitting pretty, racing a second. Big D comes out to challenge now from third. Rev Your Engine is fourth. They swing to the lane, come driving to the half. It is Winner's Accolade in command. Glengow Galaxy is second. Big D is third. Then Rev Your Engine starts to move from fourth. Flight Officer, then Gemini Risk on the outside. And Burner's Delight trailing. They were by the half. 101 at 2. Around the turn they go driving to the 5/8. It is Winner's Accolade now but 2. Glengow Galaxy driving as second. Rev Your Engine drives up to third. Big D is racing fourth. Flight Officer, Burner's Delight, Gemini Risk on to the 3/4. Winner's Accolade by 2 with Glengow Galaxy staying with him. Then back 5 lengths to Rev Your Engine. He's racing at third. They were by the 3/4, 1:30 and 3 around the top turn. Winner's Accolade, Glengow Galaxy. Winner's Accolade now but 2.5. Glengow Galaxy back 5 lengths to the rest. They swing for home now. It is Winner's Accolade and Glengow Galaxy, a game second coming on. Winner's Accolade, Glengow Galaxy. Here they are at the line. Winner's Accolade, then Glengow Galaxy, Rev Your Engine, and Flight Officer gets fourth. Then Gemini Risk, Burner's Delight, and Big D. And the time for the mile, 2 minutes flat.
The winning horse is owned by George Canning of Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia. Winner's Accolade pays $290, $290, and $210. Glengow Galaxy, $12.80 and $360. And Rev Your Engine, $210 to show. The Quinella pays $11.40, and the Triactor, $132, pays $56.20.
My plan was with the race was just go to front and hope that they couldn't catch him, and that's the way it worked out, and Just the way it is with him. He's kind of always was a front-running horse, and of course can race anywhere, you know, but he leaves so good and that they like to race him in on the farm.
Another fine showing at this year's annual of the Alexander Memorial. For At the Track, I'm Connell Smith. The sun is shining, the track is fast, and a stiff breeze is blowing in from the west. A good day for the running of the annual Francis McIsaac Memorial Race, featuring the best 3-year-olds in the Maritimes. The race is held annually in memory of the well-known and liked Francis McIsaac, who was killed in an accident in the 8th race August 31st, 1979, here at Exhibition Park Raceway, a night remembered well by everyone. This year's stake race goes in 2 parts with a total purse of $26,270. The first to win that by no means came easy. Here's track announcer Ingham Palmer.
They're by the 5/8, and it's on up the backstretch, racing now to the 3/4. Facing to the top on the outside, it is Sunshine Down. Another Thor is second. Amron Dude wide gets on to third. Right behind him with good cover. Kill Karen Derby moving now to fourth. B-Hawk between horses is fifth. 132 and 2 by the 3/4. Around the top turn, Sunshine Down. Amron Dude racing a strong second. Kill Karen Derby is third. B-Hawk racing fourth. Another Thor is fifth. They swing for home, Sunshine Down. Amron Dude. Then Kill Karen Derby swinging wide. Sunshine Down. Amron Dude. Kill Karen Derby. And here they are went up the line. Sunshine Down. Amron Dude. Kill Karen Derby. Tight for fourth. One Eye Riley and B-Hawk.
Sunshine Down, owned by Milton Downey of St. John and driven by Steve Mason, is the winner with a time of 2:03 and 2.
I followed the horse out, and my horse, he got a little rough in the turn there, and I said to Mr. Downey here before the race that we just kind of like more or less an endurance race than anything else, you know, especially when you get the back tier and stuff. And I knew my colt, and I thought he had, you know, a shot, and things went his way.
Congratulations to Steve Mason and owner Milton Downey on a great win. A faster time recorded on the second half of the stakes race. We pick it up already in progress.
Second, Dr. Benghazi has a third. Jeff Down, All the Glory. Kill Karen Direct is on the move. P.H. Bertan and F.G. Charles and through the stretch. They come racing to the half. It is Diana Royce leading the way. Bay River Chip is racing a second. Then Dr. Benghazi. Kill Karen Direct out moving a fourth. The half at 101. Into the turn now they drive on to the 5/8. Diana Royce the leader. Bay River Chip out driving on a second. Dr. Benghazi. He has a third. Then Kill Karen Direct is fourth. Jeff Down. All the Glory off stride. Then P.H. Bertan and F.G. Charles on to the 3/4. They're neck and neck for the lead. On the inside, Diana Royce. On the outside, Bay River Chip. Dr. Benghazi is a third. Kill Karen Direct is a fourth. 3/4, 131. Around the top turn, Diana Royce. Bay River Chip, Dr. Benghazi racing a third and swinging out 3 wide now as they hit the head of the line, and here they come. They head for home. Diana Royce, Bay River Chip, Dr. Benghazi. Bay River Chip now. Bay River Chip, Dr. Benghazi and Diana Royce, and here they are at the line. Bay River Chip, Dr. Benghazi, then Diana Royce, Kill Karen Direct, P.H. Bertan, Jeff Down, All the Glory, and F.G. Charles.
Bay River Chip, the winner with a time of 2:01 and 1. An exciting race for driver Dave Pinkney, who caused a scramble when he tossed his whip.
Well, my colt left real good, and the 4-horse beat me out of there, and I just sat on his back to the 3/8, and I got him out and let him roll along. He's fairly tough colt. He can go a long ways. He's long-winded, so I thought I'd better get out and let him get caught in.
A very happy Dave Pinkney and owners Omer Casey and Bertan Cormier of Cocan, New Brunswick. All in all, a great day of racing here at Exhibition Park Raceway. For At the Track, I'm Connell Smith.
Well, for 1986, Exhibition Park Raceway in St. John came up with the lion's share of the Rothman Sire Stakes events, and the first big bucks race was last Saturday. That was the $30,000 final in the 3-year-old Pace and Colts division. We mentioned at the outset of the show it was a weekend of upsets, and here's where one of the major upsets occurred. Bay River Chip went into this race 11 for 11, but it was not to be that he would end the victor, as Connell Smith tells us from EPR and the Rothman's Sire Stakes.
It's family days here at Exhibition Park Raceway, and while the kids do the moonwalk, everyone else here is talking about the 11th race, the Rockman Sire Stakes, and one horse in particular, Bay River Chip, owned by Burton Cormier and Omer Cassie of Coquin, New Brunswick. This horse puts a perfect career record of 11 wins in 11 starts on the line here today. Dave Pinkney, the driver, there's no betting allowed on this horse. Other horses we'll watch closely here today: Kilkerran Direct, driven by Darrell McLean; Horton's Thunder, driven by Marcel Barriot; and All the Glory, driven by Michael McDonald. The track is good, and we're expecting a great race.
Kilkerran Derby with Wally Hennessy, Bayside Quinton with Earl Smith, Horton's Thunder with Marcel Barriot, Dockery Benghazi with Jody Hennessy, and here they come. Clear off Kilkerran Direct, wings four, here's the lead on the outside. Bay River Chip racing second, Horton's Thunder up wide, and in between them goes Dockery Benghazi. Kilkerran Direct grabs the lead, then the Bay River Chip racing second as they leave the eighth. Dockery Benghazi drives up third, FG Charles has fourth, Horton's Thunder racing fifth. Then it's All the Glory, Bayside Quinton, Kilkerran Derby trails. On to the quarter, Kilkerran Direct has the lead, a length. Bay River Chip racing second, Dockery Benghazi parked, hangs at third, FG Charles racing fourth. They were by that opening quarter, 29 seconds, and Dockery Benghazi goes on. He drives on to second, he's winging for the lead. Kilkerran Direct is the leader as they come by the 3/8 now. Dockery Benghazi is racing second and through the stretch. They come racing to the half. It is Kilkerran Direct, and here comes Bay River Chip out from third. Kilkerran Direct and Dockery Benghazi. Bay River Chip now gets to second going on, and he grabs the lead as they race on by the half in a minute. Into the turn now, racing to the 5/8. It is Bay River Chip. Kilkerran Direct racing is second. Horton's Thunder on the outside drives on third. Dockery Benghazi, All the Glory, Bayside Quinton, FG Charles, and Kilkerran Derby on to the 3/4. The two leaders are neck and neck. Bay River Chip by a nose. Kilkerran Direct back on again on the inside, and he takes the lead. Kilkerran Direct the leader as they go by the 3/4. Bay River Chip hangs a second. The 3/4, 1:30. It is Kilkerran Direct on the inside, Bay River Chip on the outside. Horton's Thunder racing third, coming up on the inside. Kilkerran Derby, All the Glory, Bayside Quinton swinging home. Kilkerran Direct and Bay River Chip. Then Horton's Thunder, All the Glory, Kilkerran Derby coming to the line. Kilkerran Direct, here they are. Kilkerran Direct, Bay River Chip, Horton's Thunder, All the Glory, Kilkerran Derby, Bayside Quinton, FG Charles, and Dockery Benghazi. And the time for the mile, 2 minutes and 1/5.
What a finish for Kilkerran Direct, and some great driving by a very happy Darrell McLean.
Well, I just left the gate as fast as I could, I guess, and Bay River Chip, he left. I had to leave, I guess, to cut it out also, but I got around him, and I just cut it from then on, from wire to wire, and then Bay River Chip come, and I thought letting him go because he was the best, but then in the 5/8 he didn't show any real lick there, so I spoke to my fella and he came back on, and he just kept on going from there.
Kilkerran Direct, an unbelievable 3-year-old, and all the more unbelievable when you consider what owner Gordon McLean paid for him.
He went through the sale, and the fellow who bought him for $1,100 didn't know he wanted him or not, and I tried to buy him, and he says, "You give me an extra 100, you can have him." And I gave him the extra 100 and took him home.
Oh, you're going to keep him for a while?
Oh, I imagine he'll die with us.
A happy owner, a big upset, an exciting race, a great day here at Exhibition Park Raceway. This is Connell Smith for At the Track.
Again, and welcome back to At the Track. Our feature race this afternoon is the highlight of Old Home Week from Charlottetown Driving Park, the $12,500 Gold Cup and Saucer, one of the most exciting Gold Cup and Saucer races in many years. Stan Bergstein is back, and he will finish his series on horseshoeing and harness racing horses. But before all of that, we have an interview. Greg Dennis talks with a wrestler turned harness racing trainer and driver, Yvon Cormier.
This man is considered one of the Maritime's best horse trainers. His name is Yvon Cormier, and though his name might not be familiar, his face should ring a bell.
Finishing hold, the sleeper, I think.
Most people know Yvon Cormier as the Beast, a feisty, rough-and-tumble wrestler who body-slammed hundreds of opponents during an illustrious 20-year career. One of 4 wrestling Cormier brothers from Dorchester, New Brunswick, the Beast earned a pretty good buck on the local circuit and was popular the world over.
I enjoyed wrestling. It was good to me. I've seen a lot of country, like I've been in Japan 5 or 6 times, and been to Hawaii, I've been to New Zealand, I've been to Korea, and I travel a lot. I've been all over the United States. I've seen a lot of country, and it's funny, I wasn't the type of guy that really liked to travel, but being a professional wrestler, he brought me a lot of places. I've seen a lot of, at the time, I didn't think nothing of it when I'd see it. Like I went to Japan, I went to a lot of places. I went where that bomb there fell in Japan, and seen a museum, and I seen a lot of places. At that time, I didn't think, but now that I think back, I'm kind of, glad that I've seen it, and sometimes I'll watch TV at night and see a certain place like in Japan or New Zealand or they show. Well, I tell the kids, I said, I've been there. I remember, remember that place.
These days, Cormier travels, not around the world, but around the 5/8 track at Champlain Raceway. He brings to his new job a lifelong love of horses and the same dedication and competitiveness he displayed in the wrestling ring. Those traits attracted him to Francis Bellavo of Diepp's Bellco Stables.
When Ivan seemed to be ready to retire from wrestling, I felt that he was a great prospect. And I hired him, I guess, in '79. And I had a couple trainers here with, were good trainers, and they more or less broke him in. A horse is a horse. I mean, it's still the same animal, but the thing is, the technique of racing, let's say, and I think he had good education, let's say, in the first year or so that he was here, and then he caught on good and quick, and he's a hell of a trainer right now. I'd say one of the best.
A lot of people thought he was a little goofy by taking, like a professional wrestler, really, that never had anything to do with racehorses. So we went on, and things have been very good. I think a lot of luck, maybe, but we had a lot of good colts.
That includes Falcon Sealster, a world champion with earnings over $1 million. Every autumn, Bellavo buys yearlings from Ontario and the United States. A year later, he returns to sell the better colts at a profit. In between, it's Cormier's job to see that Bellavo's investments pay dividends.
First of all, you have to have a little horsemanship in you. I mean, it's like a guy that fixes a car. You've got to be a mechanic, and some of them are smarter than others. I'm not trying to say that I'm smart, just that what I'm saying is that you have to have an imagination. You got to be able to imagine what the horse really needs. If he needs, you got to be rough with him to make him mind, or you got to be easy with him. Some horses are different. Some of them break in right easy in 2 or 3 days, like an old racehorse, and some of them takes months. I remember Perfect Blue Chip was a nice colt. He made over $300,000. He pays 56. He was a nice colt, but we bought him. He bought him in Harrisburg sale with the latter part of October, and it was February before that he really was a horse, and he was just stubborn. He wanted to lay down. He wanted to turn inside out. He done everything to be miserable. But he used to show a lot of speed by time, so like he was a horse that we had to have it took a long time to get him there. But when he got there, he was a nice little horse.
Cormier picked up his nickname in North Carolina in 1964. A wrestling promoter thought the Beast suited his shaggy appearance and gruff demeanor. He'll carry that handle around with him for the rest of his life, and with no regrets. But he doesn't miss the ring action. He's home a lot more now with his wife and children, and training horses isn't quite as punishing as those slams into the turnbuckle.
We fit right into me with the horses, and I'm not scared of horsemen, or I was brought up in them, so it's nothing. A lot of people say they come in the barn and hold their nose, they smell, but I don't smell it. I'm happy. It don't bother me at all.
For At the Track, I'm Greg Dennis.
The track was fast for the Rothman Sire Stakes for 3-year-olds. Drawing the rail was winner of the 2-year-old stakes, West River Willie, owned by Ed Haley of Antigonish, driven by Ken McDonald. In the 2-hole, KELLS AYRE, in only her 3rd race, owned by Donald Ross of Lower Montague. Number 3, High Chips, owned by Patricia Smith of St. John, driven by Herman Renaud. Erasmus, owned by Doug Robson of Belfast PEI, drew number 4. One of the favorites, Erasmus has earned over $12,000 in its first 10 races. In its last start, Erasmus beat number 5 horse, DUNMORE TWEED, by 2/5 of a second. DUNMORE TWEED is owned by Orville Willis of O'Leary PEI, driven by Marcel Barrio. Number 6 Policymaker is owned by Moncton's Don Canning, driven by Randy Canning. They finished in 2 minutes, 4 2/5 seconds, led by DUNMORE TWEED, followed by Erasmus, West River Willie, High Chips, KELLS AYRE, and Policymaker. But it was a little sloppy with 3 of the 6 horses breaking.
Kind of a rough race for a lot of the people out there. A lot of horses broke. How are you playing it?
Well, I planned like I was hoping it would go. I kind of missed all the running and whatever was going on in the back, so once I went towards the front, I was kind of happy to be there. I was more concerned about Erasmus. Like, once I seen that I beat him off the gate, I was quite happy for that.
Claire McDonald watched West River Willie pull up on husband Ken McDonald at the 3/4, then regain its trot to show.
Trotters are hard to keep steady, you know. The least little thing will bother them. They get another horse handy, it'll bother them. Sometimes they try to go faster, quicker than they're ready to go. They'll make just an effort too quick, and they get tangled up in boots and hit themselves. There's more interference problems with a trotter than a pacer, and a pacer has always to tie himself together, give him something to rely on.
At 3 years old, they're still pretty young too, eh?
Oh yeah. Although now they get broke so early in their races, 2- and 3-year-olds. A lot of them are well-seasoned racehorses by now, but still they're still in their mind, they're still young.
Claire's father had to be happy. Ed Haley owns West River Willie. He owned its sire and mare. The sire, Bancroft Hanover, also sired winner DUNMORE TWEED. And Haley owned the dam Star Tweed, selling her when she was in foal with DUNMORE TWEED.
Mr. Willis, tell us a little bit about the winner today, DUNMORE TWEED.
He was bred right out here and raised out here in Antigonish, and he's got a good family. The horse came from a good family. There was a maritime champion out of her before, and the potential was there, and we thought we seen it there, so that's why we bought him.
Rothman Stakes publicist Ken Starrett was pleased with the race.
One thing has happened, Paul, is there are more sires coming in, more stallions, and the breeding is improving. And I think in the next 2 years, in the Rothman's 2- and 3-year-olds, you'll see some better racing with the trotters. Of course, we have 55 new stallions in the Maritimes from the United States and Ontario, and that means that the breeding is getting better, and the times are getting quicker and quicker.
As for the closure of Sackville Downs, Starrett sees no effect on the program's future. In fact,
no effect in the immediate future, but when we tender on the races for next year, we hope that the new track will be announced, and it's intimate, I think, the announcement for the Atlantic Winter Fair site. And with that in mind, they'll have an opportunity to tender on those races.
That's what we keep hearing. DUNMORE TWEED, winner of the Rothman Sire Stake for 3-year-old trotters in a time of 2:04 and 2. Oh, one person was especially happy with his time spent at Truro Raceway on Sunday. Moncton's Danny LeBlanc spent $30 to wheel the triactor in the 7th race.
$1,100. Won $700 last night. Champlain.
Do you usually bet on one race and then
take off? Yeah, I try to. Best I can.
I'm Paul Meunier for At the Track.
And the feature race promised to be just as exciting. Number 1 is Maple Grove Shadow, owned and driven by Winston Campbell of Sackville, Nova Scotia, the second fastest maritime-bred 3-year-old. Number 2, Rattlin' Robbie, an ordinary horse until driver-trainer Henry Smallwood came along, now one of the Maritime's best. Number 3 is Heels Lad, the fastest maritime-bred gelding of all time, Dave Corey driving. 4 is Paris Dexter from PEI. Interesting, this horse began the season standing at stud, but owner Ewan Taylor decided he still had enough left to race, and he won the Gold Cup and Saucer Consolation in 1:59 and 2. Number 5, Guaranteed Chance, definitely the long shot, but still a capable horse with a best time of 2:01 and 1, Gary McDonald driving. Number 6, the pre-race favorite, Angel's Shadow, owned by Moncton's Murray Wade, the 2-time winner of the St. John Provincial Cup. Angel's Shadow, with Marcel Barrio on the bike, is the fastest ever maritime-bred horse with a time of 1:57 even. And finally, number 7, Odd Joe, a consistent pacer owned by Woodstock's Carolyn Kaiser. Ivan Davies is one of the Maritime's best up-and-coming young drivers. fans had every reason to expect a great race.
As they swing into the turn, go on by the opening 8. Heels Lad is on the inside. Angel Shadow up on the outside, going for taking the lead round the paddock turn. They race for the opening quarter. Angel Shadow now out in front and on the rail by the quarter. 27 1/5 seconds. They move on down the stretch in front of the stand for the first time. Angel Shadow out in front with the lead. Heels Lad racing in 2. Maple Grove Shadow moving 3. Paris Dexter racing in 4. Rattle and Robbie moving 5. Ojo racing 6. And the trailer Guaranteed Chance. They go to the turn now for the half mile. Positions unchanged in the turn. Setting the tempo is Angel Shadow by a length. Heels Lad in 2. They roll on by the half. 57 3/5 seconds over to the back stretch for the final time. Angel Shadow still is out in front. It's a length and a half with Heels Lad driving into Maple Grove Shadow moving 3. Paris Dexter on the outside in 4. Racing 5, that's a Rattle and Robbie. Followed by Ojo and the trailer is Guaranteed Chance. They go to the paddock turn for the final time. Angel Shadow now by 2 lengths there by the 3/4. 26 4. They race round the turn for the final time. It's Angel Shadow. He's out in front by 3 lengths. Heels Lad racing 2. Maple Grove Shadows up on the outside in 3. Paris Dexter racing 4. They swing for home. Angel Shadow, Maple Grove Shadow on the outside. Here comes Paris Dexter up on the outside. Angel Shadow, Paris Dexter's on the outside. They come to the wire. It's going to be Angel Shadow in 1:56 4.
The spectacular 1:56 4 mile eclipsed Angel Shadow's own maritime record.
He took it pretty good, like. You know, he's a class horse, and he showed his class tonight.
When did you realize that you might be on a record pace? Was it there at the quarter?
At the quarter, yeah. When I seen that quick a half, like, I figured I could give him a breather, like, from there to the half and still be there quick enough.
Paris Dexter also ran his best time ever, but not good enough to win on this evening.
I figured perhaps he could be second, maybe to Angel Shadow. This Angel Shadow, he's a hell of a horse, you know. No disgrace him beating you.
For At the Track, this is Greg Dennis.